Welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. In this episode, we're going to be speaking about the Manchester City and Belgian footballer Kevin De Bruyne. But before we get into the episode, as always, we need to do some shout-outs and some messages. And the first one says, Dear Darren, my name is Daniel Curran and I'm aged 8. I'm from County Waterford in Ireland. I really love your podcast. I play soccer for my local club, Ballon Road Rams, for the under-9s. We call football soccer because football in Ireland means Gaelic football. I support Liverpool and my favourite player is Mo Salah. I would love it if you could do an episode on Mo Salah and Liverpool. I hope you get my message. I did, Daniel, and a massive shout out to you and everybody in your football team. Mo Salah is on the list, as is Liverpool, and in the not so distant future, I will get round to making those episodes. Thank you very much for being a listener. The next one says, Hi Darren, I love your podcast and I listen before bed. I've listened to all of the episodes and my favourite one was the one on goalkeepers. Thanks for making the podcast, from Nico in Tottenham, who is a massive Tottenham fan. Well, a big shout out to you, Nico, and thank you very much for your request, and I'm so glad to hear that you really enjoyed the episode on goalkeepers. And the last one on this episode says, Dear Darren, my name is Ollie and I live in Gibraltar. I'm 9 years old and I love listening to your podcast. Please can you give my team, Europa Point, a shout out? My dad would like an episode on Georgie Best if you can, please. My position is right wing and I like Messi. I play the same position as Messi and I support PSG and Manchester United. And Ollie finishes his episode with Cala Messi, goal, by 2. And that was a brilliant one from Ollie. Well, thanks very much, Ollie. Great to know that we've got listeners out in Gibraltar. I hope that you're enjoying your football and I hope that you really enjoy this episode as well. Right then, it's time to get into this episode. The one about the marvellous, the fantastic, the terrific, the absolutely sensational Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin was born in Belgium in 1991 in a place called Drongen, a small and quiet village not too far from the city of Ghent. He had thick blonde hair, and in a team picture you could spot him a mile off. From a very young age, Kevin always had a ball in his hands or at his feet. He was obsessed with football. He was born to play the beautiful game. Kevin started playing football when he was young, and when he was 6 years old, although he was a very shy and quiet boy, he was very happy to speak his mind. Kevin was playing for a team called KVV Drongen, and he decided he didn't want to play for them any longer and he wanted to play for Ghent. As he said, their training sessions were much better. A bold thing to say to your coach when you're 6 years old, but Kevin knew exactly what he wanted. In 1999, Kevin made the move to Ghent, and it was quickly recognised that he was one of the best players on the pitch and so much better than many of the teams which they played against. Kevin has always been known for being quiet but extremely stubborn. There's a story about him being told off when he was playing for Ghent, and he grabbed one of the goalposts and he wouldn't let go. He told the adults that he would be staying there all night, so they better get comfortable. Kevin was a focused and determined boy who loved football and had everything required to make it. He spent 6 years with Ghent winning games, leagues and trophies. It's where he developed into a seriously good player, and at 14 years old he was off to join another Belgian side, a team called Genk. Genk was on the other side of the country but was a much bigger club and had a lot more potential for catapulting him into the football world. Kevin, at 14 years old, moved from his home and his family. Kevin went to a school called a boarding school, where kids and teenagers live at the school. This was a massive move and a brave decision for still a very young man and a very shy one too. But he loved his football, he wanted to play, and he would do anything to make it happen. Kevin was never a fan of these places though. He didn't enjoy being there at all, and in the second year, he went to go and live with some foster parents. These are people who temporarily look after children in different circumstances. Because of how quiet and shy Kevin was, he didn't do much socialising with the other kids in the house. And after spending many months with the foster parents, he went home one summer. And when he got home, he was told by his parents that he wouldn't be going back to the foster parents' house. They said that he was difficult. He was too quiet. He didn't socialise or interact. They labelled him as too difficult to handle. This made Kevin feel very sad and very upset. Everyone in the world is different, and it doesn't matter if you're quiet, shy, outgoing or loud. I think, as long as you're a nice person, that's all that matters. I think what was said to him made him determined to make it in football even more. I think he turned the negativity into positivity with his football. And when he was just 16 years old, he was selected to be in the first team for the Belgium Cup final. Kevin spent 4 years with Genk and had some incredible moments with them. He learned about himself and developed a lot. He knew if he wanted to make it though, if he wanted to make it into the big time, he would have to go to a bigger club. So, like he had done in his past, he made the decision to move. This time, he wanted to go to England. So he joined the Premier League and he joined Chelsea. However, it wasn't the dream that Kevin and his family hoped for. He was loaned out to 2 German clubs and only actually played 9 games for Chelsea and didn't score a single goal for them. Some players, no matter how good they are, just don't work out at some clubs. Kevin was never going to let this get in the way of his dreams. So, like always, he spoke his mind. He made the club and the fans and the manager aware he wasn't happy at Chelsea. He wasn't getting any game time and he wanted to leave. So off he went. Kevin signed up to play for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. De Bruyne quickly became their star player and one of the best players in the league. He played with the club for 3 seasons and scored many wonderful goals. Kevin was happy playing football again. There was one game for Wolfsburg against Bayern Munich, who at the time were being managed by Pep Guardiola. Wolfsburg smashed them 4-1 and De Bruyne was absolutely sensational. Pep would have had his eyes firmly on him from that moment on. He knew he was a special player. But like all things in this story, the next move came because Kevin had made a decision. He'd made a decision on what he wanted to achieve next. And after 70 games in the Wolfsburg kit, he had his eyes on his next move. He wanted to return back to England and back to the Premier League. And in 2015, he joined Manchester City. In his first season with the club, he played over 40 games, creating unbelievable opportunities over and over again. He assisted, he scored, he was at home with Manchester. De Bruyne has been with City since 2015 and has played well over 300 games for the club. But a goal in particular that both he and his fans will not forget was a goal which he scored against Chelsea in the 2016 season. It wasn't the most amazing goal, it was the story behind it which made it special. Kevin had worked his socks off. He'd taken risks, he'd lived away from home. He'd taken himself out of his comfort zone to make it in football. He had a miserable time at Chelsea, and he was being spoken about like he wasn't the player that he knew he was when he was there. So that goal, and Manchester City getting the win and the 3 points, meant a lot to Kevin and the team. Kevin has become one of the best players on the pitch and one of the best players to ever wear a Manchester City shirt. The relationships he has formed with the manager, his teammates and the fans is remarkable. Kyle Walker is one of his best friends at Manchester City. It seems that Kevin De Bruyne has found his home with the club, and it may be somewhere he spends the rest of his career. His actual home, of course, is Belgium, the place where he was born and raised, the place where he learnt his craft. Kevin has had the honour of representing his country for over 13 years, playing in major competitions alongside some of the other great Belgian players. He's played nearly 100 games for his country, and now he's the captain, an achievement that all footballers dream of. He's a multiple-time winner of the Premier League, an FA Cup winner. He was 3rd place for the prestigious Ballon d'Or award, a World Cup semi-finalist, and one of the greatest Belgian players who's ever lived. Kevin De Bruyne sends the message that it doesn't matter if you're quiet or loud, confident or shy. If you love what you do and you've got a dream, then you've got to chase it. Because he did, and what a story he has created for us to talk about. I hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning about the truly magnificent Kevin De Bruyne. And remember, if you know someone who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly or pitch side, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.